As Disney acquired the Star Wars franchise, many fans anticipated exciting new chapters in the beloved saga. A great American company founded by a brilliant creative man was going to unite with another great American company founded and still being led by a brilliant creative man. However, the reality that unfolded after Disney purchased Lucasfilm left fans shocked, saddened, and disappointed.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
You have to understand just how profound experiencing Star Wars was decades ago. For some people, it was practically a religious experience. And for decades, publicly admitting that you were a fan of Star Wars could get you made fun of. But you were a fan anyway, because Star Wars was special. And those who didn't get it, didn't matter.
This is fucking awesome!
In 2012, the House of Mouse whipped out its checkbook and gave George Lucas $4 billion for the entirety of Lucasfilm.
One of the reasons I sold it was I was starting to make movies that were more personal and were obviously losing a lot of money. And I said, I really can't do this much more because the company will be dragged down. And I had 2,000 employees, so I had people to think about.
This was after doing the same with Marvel in 2009. This is a theme, by the way. Disney has a knack for doing this, acquiring and swallowing other companies so that they can expand their empire. Disney's leadership saw in Star Wars a colossal commercial opportunity. They sought to leverage its immense cultural capital to propagate what they deemed to be progressive ideologies. However, as the sequel trilogy emerged under Disney's watch, it became apparent to the masses that the essence of Star Wars had been lost.
Star Wars The Last Jedi comes out this week, and I get to watch it in about 2 days. I can't get here soon enough.
2 days later.
Man, it just bums me out.
It's mediocre in ways that it should not have even been allowed to happen.
I mean, it's... When the movie ended, I'm just sitting there staring at the screen, and I'm just like, what? It's so disappointing.
The once rich tapestry of storytelling, which captivated audiences for decades, it became a vehicle for agendas that felt forced and inauthentic. Eventually, it became clear that the cesspit of modern-day American politics had found its way into this galaxy far, far away. Disney and those they've hired on as creatives are people who've made it their life's work to demonize tradition and to seek revenge on those who they feel are responsible for their misery. The themes of the originals, heroism, redemption, family, and the battle between good and evil, were overshadowed by heavy-handed messages of woke activism. And this is where, like, the Disney apologists will usually pop up on Twitter and say something like,
"But George Lucas was influenced by the war in Vietnam when making Star Wars. The rebels are the Viet Cong. He based Palpatine and the Empire on the Nixon administration. But today, man-babies want to cry that Star Wars is woke and being infused with modern issues."
Well, it's an easy reply. It's because Disney's activism in media feels like a calculated marketing strategy rather than a genuine expression of artistic vision. In contrast, George Lucas's incorporation of real-world influences in Star Wars was driven by his desire to create a compelling narrative rather than to meet market demands, or more accurately in this case that we see today, appeal to specific demographics. But that's not really the problem, is it? The real problem is that Disney's recent push for diversity and inclusion in their storytelling, it seems less about genuine progress and more about settling some old score that they have. And while they tout their efforts as groundbreaking, the truth is, strong female leads and diverse representation have been a part of storytelling for decades. Disney's ideological playground appears to be fueled by disdain for other people and dissenting voices, painting anyone who disagrees as villains.
It's no longer 1937, and we absolutely wrote a Snow White that
She's
is
not going to be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be, and the leader that her late father told her that she could be if she was fearless, fair, brave, and true.
What the hell's so wrong with true love? You don't have to forsake one to be able to appreciate the values of another. Where have we seen this before? Where have we seen these things work together in harmony?
You said you'd bind yourself to me, forsaking the immortal life of your people.
And to that I hold. I would rather share one lifetime with you than face all the ages of this world alone.
Aragorn's love for Arwen inspires him to embrace his destiny as a leader. Her unwavering loyalty and bravery bolster his resolve. Together, their love forms a bond that not only strengthens their individual roles, but also fosters unity and resilience within their societies. Through their love, Arwen and Aragorn exemplify how the power of compassion and mutual support can elevate leaders, transforming them into beacons of hope and catalysts for positive change in their world. But I'm not saying anything you don't already know. I'm just pointing out what's been forgotten or what's being ignored by the company who's in charge today. They just seem to be no longer interested in any of these timeless themes or ways of telling a compelling story. You know what it's like? Disney Star Wars is really just corporate groupthink Star Wars. Its future is not led by a visionary or a team that honors the foundation of which it was created. It would just be just as bad if it were hijacked by a far right-wing corporation whose aim was to turn us all into polygamists or something. Maybe they'd try to have us abstain from premarital dating or try to pray the gay away.
I'm not gay no more. I am delivered.
And you'd think they'd course correct, right? Like they would be able to see the folly of their ways and see how the public has reacted, and they'd be able to maneuver, pivot, and figure it out.
Maybe we should give them something new.
Yeah, that never happened. And we see that this sort of infection has happened industry-wide. It's in all of Hollywood. It's not exclusive to Disney. I think I'm getting sidetracked here, though. I could go on and point out all the different areas that Hollywood has done this. But back to Disney and Star Wars. The public's harsh reaction to this hijacking of Star Wars, a once beloved IP, was a testament to the profound disappointment felt by fans of the franchise. It wasn't merely nostalgia that fueled the backlash, but a genuine sense of betrayal, a feeling that the heart and soul of Star Wars had been sacrificed at the altar of ideological corporate agendas. And then, those who were left in charge of Lucasfilm came for the legacy of Indiana Jones, moving their agenda-driven replacement character to the front of the line at the expense of the now deconstructed hero.
You have offended my family, and you have offended the Shaolin Temple.
It doesn't matter how good it looks if the soul of the story is non-existent or unauthentic. And well, with regards to Star Wars,
I said all I wanted to do was tell a story of what happened it started here and it went there. And it's all about generations, and it's about, the issues of fathers and sons and grandfathers, and it's a family soap opera. I mean, ultimately.
Join me, and together we can rule the galaxy as father and son.
I mean, we call it space opera, but people don't realize it's actually a soap opera. And it's all about family problems, and
that's where the soul of the story exists.
It's not about spaceships. So they decided they didn't want to use those stories. They decided they were going to go do their own thing, and so I decided, fine.
So although films like The Last Jedi may have been filmed beautifully, it lacked the soul needed to gain the respect of the fan base. Looking back, in hindsight, Disney's leadership underestimated the passion and discernment of the Star Wars community. Their execution fell short. It serves as a cautionary tale of the delicate balance between honoring the past and embracing the future, a lesson that extends far beyond the galaxy far, far away. In addition to that, I think there's another lesson as well. It's that feminism, it's not a blunt instrument that's used to bludgeon masculinity, but it should be used harmoniously with masculinity to enrich the world they're trying to build, like a symphony. It's a reminder that true empowerment comes not from domination, but from unity. And for the record, when The Force Awakens was announced, I was extremely excited. As the father of a young girl, I couldn't wait to share in the experience with her and let her watch a female hero become a Jedi, give her somebody to model herself after, and be excited to see on screen. And to be quite frank, Daisy Ridley is an incredible actress. She was doing great with what she was given. And The Mandalorian was probably the best thing to happen to Star Wars since Revenge of the Sith. Here's the good news. George Lucas's Star Wars legacy spanned across 30 plus years. And during that time, under his leadership, there were 6 films, numerous comics, animated shows, and hundreds of novels published in the Star Wars expanded universe. You can find books that covered various eras and characters within the Star Wars galaxy that explore events during, before, and even after the depictions of the films. Some of the most notable books from the series are the Thrawn trilogy by Timothy Zahn, the X-Wing series, and the New Jedi Order series. Overall, the Star Wars Expanded Universe was a rich and diverse collection of stories that expanded upon the mythos of the franchise and captured imaginations of fans for decades. So, I think in the end, there's George Lucas Star Wars and corporate Star Wars. I'm not sure that's ever going to change. Disney kind of just bought their way in, but it doesn't mean their stories are any better or any more legitimate. It's just a company trying to tell us what we should consume and that we should probably not ask any questions about it. So make your own decision. Check out the other media that's out there. There's plenty to go through, and you might be really pleased with what you find. And if by some miracle that somebody at Disney or Lucasfilm happens to watch this video, I hope that you find your way again. I really do. Thank you for watching. May the Force be with you, always. And for anybody who might be pissed at me for this, don't worry. I showed this to my wife, and she says,
If you want him, come and claim him.